Okay, one more big section just to cover for the literary techniques. And then of course, but then I've just got to formally put them into the file in terms of how to answer them, not for a SAC now, but just for the exam. So identifying, defining, and explaining the significance of techniques. So here, the invasion taking place. We haven't been here for a while. They're in the process of fleeing, but at the same time, they notice, or Aeneas notices, that his wife Creusa is missing. So here, just thematically, it's that that conflict in his mind, as you've heard in the lectures, not my lectures, but the lectures I gave you on a file in the omnibus. That conflict in his mind as a private figure with human emotions, and a public figure who has a duty to the gods. You could say duty to fate, duty to his people. So just, yeah, that conflict between just also like, yeah, so to move on or to go back to the past. So yeah, so obviously if you're in this situation, you would want to try to save your home, as we saw, Anchises, or want to stay there because it's your home. But there's also that that need to, I guess, sustain life as well, and to think of the bigger picture. So, right. So now, so yeah. So just there's always talk of the enemy kind of approaching, and yeah, I guess around this area, the techniques can flesh out that idea of fear and also conflict in Aeneas's mind. So here there is, where are we? 734. I'll just go to that. Shining. I see there's shining shields and gleaming. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So just imagery. So just if, yeah. So with the enemy, ardentes, literally burning, but you'd say shining shields, klipeos, and mikantea aira, and gleaming bronze. So it just gives that that image. So rather than just saying, you know, the enemy's approaching, you see what is approaching and how conspicuous it is by their shining weapons and armor, etc. So and always keep in mind that he's speaking to the Carthaginian audience. So so yeah, so telling that story to them and just wanting to, I guess, yeah, if you're telling a story, just, you know, really painting with words, make it very vivid. So yep, notices that Creusa is has somehow become lost. There are just a couple of notes I've put with asterisk where I'll read it. So what is that? About 740, 741. Okay, so I'll just go to 741 here. And it's not repetition because it's not two words. You could say, actually it could be, could you say respexi, reflexi? Could be some sort of assonance, I guess. Nor do I look back. So I look back, I turn back. Yeah, so actually, I'll actually highlight it now. Did I look back? Did I turn back? I'll write, assonance, reflexy. Yeah, just those words really. So repetition of the same type of word, so those perfects. And I think the in this individual blue book I have, the best description is here. So it says, note the repeated RE of the verbs, so reflexy and respexy and reflexy. So it could also be, I guess, yeah, no, assonance, yeah, the vowel sounds. emphasizing the direction his eyes and mind should have taken. So yeah, you see that it's, yeah, so really just he's conflicted between going back and finding his wife, and also just moving forward and leaving what cannot be saved in Troy. So 743. Yeah, omnibus and una. So here I could say word order. Also, I'll write juxtaposition. So the translation here: with everyone gathered at last, one was missing. And de fuit, by the way, is in, I could say, is it in, not sure with a comma, but definitely if it's not in German, it's word order as well. So so the placement of these words here, so just the de fuit being on the start of the ending the clause there, even though it's a comma, and starting the line, draws attention to the conspicuousness of Creosa being the one missing, una at the end of the line, and una and omnibus being next to each other. So you see everyone, and there's one person who is conspicuously not there. So just those two words at the end. Yeah, so you could say that una is meant to be with them. So meant to be kind of together, next to them, but she's not. And she escaped the notice of her comrades, her son, and her husband. So again, just emphasizing her conspicuous absence. Just this tricolon here. So comrades, natumque, virumque. Which of both men and of gods I did not madly accuse. Yeah, so just, yeah, so again, just like we had with, was it Dewum and Mortalibus, I think it was, in the first half. So just Aeneas's kind of mindset here in terms of, and it can also just keep drawing attention to that, so just agency in general. So he was wanting to blame any humans or any gods for this misfortune happening. So those words are, yeah, hominum deorum que, hominum que deorum que, sorry. So the que really drawing attention to both parties involved in the misfortune, and amens. Yeah, so this is more thematic because I haven't highlighted it. So just is how he's a private individual. Okay, so yes, eventually he leaves Creosa behind, but right at this stage, he is wanting to find her. So he's not thinking big picture. He keeps having to be reminded of his destiny and of the big picture as a public figure. So here he's acting as a more private figure. And acting on his human emotions, his human passion. So this is pietas and furor, where it can be people, it can be represented by different types of people. So the people that Aeneas opposes, but it can also be a conflict within himself as well. Okay. Yep. So just trust. Yeah, so just again, shining armor in 749, fulgentibus armis, could just draw attention to the danger, you could say, of his of what he was doing, and how he had to go in, and yeah, obviously quite unsafe, but just echoing that same thing with the enemy, the conspicuousness of the enemy, and their shining armor being visible, and just drawing attention to Aeneas and him having to do this privately. Stat. So yeah, so we're really getting an insight into his mindset here, and the word order of stat, a verb at the start, literally it stands. but loosely the translation, I think this might be in a dictionary, it would say, my firm purpose is to. So as you see, to renew all misfortunes, and I turn back through all of Troy and I again expose my life to danger. So here he's still got, he's still not really moving on. Like he still has to be reminded that Troy cannot be saved. So even though he has already been told, he just keeps having to be reminded. So it is futile ultimately to try to find, to save or find Creosa. And yeah, the fact that it says caput, so head representing life, I guess, yeah, like when you think with capital punishment, having your, head chopped off. Yeah, just you think your head is the thing that sort of identifies you the most. Like you have to have your photo in identification. The rest of your body, it's hard to identify you, so your face really identifies you. So face representing life overall, and just, function of the brain, and all your senses are located in your head. Yeah, so just this would just draw attention to how he was going back into danger, and he's vividly recalling this to his audience. So from the chart, in the beginning, I'll go back to walls. So he's retracing his steps. Again, metonymy in 754. So light representing I. We had this in Catullus, you might remember, with double the darkness. If you remember that that poem. 754, with a keen eye, lustro lumine. So just to draw attention that he's really trying hard to look for her. So 756. So it's not something where he's like oh yeah, if I find her, I find her. If I don't, I don't. But like he really wants to, and he's not really moving on, as I've said before. 756. I'll scroll down a bit here, by the way. C forte is if by chance, literally. But I think a looser translation could be if only. So if only she were easier to find. So in this individual blue book, so 756, there is a note that says, note the repeat of C forte, if only, marking Aeneas's last pathetic hope. So yeah, so when someone says if only, obviously they're expressing regret. So yeah, when he discovers after looking that it is or will be futile. And I return home. The Greeks had rushed in, they occupied all the house. So drawing attention to the end of this hope, tectum, where are we? 7-5. Yep, so tectum, so roof representing house. And just another note from this individual book on this. In ruerant tenebant, you could have a case for some sort of assonance as well. So this clinical statement marks the end of his desperate hope. So what I'll do is I'll actually write had rushed in, so that aunt bant had rushed in and they occupied. So I'll put synecdoche roof and what's the other one? Assonance. Yeah, because I've just added that one. It's not in your, not in the blue book. But yeah, just those two verbs, yeah, show what the Greeks have done, their actions, and that he can no longer find Creosa. And then immediately, so 7-5, that's yeah, iliket. So it's just the word order. yeah, so he has to get out of there. Just shows that yeah, just draws attention to the danger. He has to move on as well. Flames are apparent, the seething heat rages to the air. Now it is really a it's not human fury or rage, but it just, yeah, I underlined just as a reference to the word rage. Um, and yeah, there are examples of people raging as well. So I'm not sure this. Yeah, I'm not sure how it relates to human passions, but it could just be how he is acting on his sort of passion, as a not anger, but just not thinking as a public figure, as I keep saying. So it's could be appropriate that he's caught in this situation involving that sort of word. Okay. Now, oh yeah, so he's just going around different areas in Troy, having looked for her, and 761. So I'll just read the note in here. So the sanctuary of Juno is evidently on the citadel of Troy, Pergama, and I'll I think I would have written this in the if it just says who is this person. So the guards, Phoenix, tutor of Achilles, leader of the embassy to him in the Iliad. So that's that. Ulysses could be, fearful Ulysses could be an epithet, Dirus Ulysses. Now, as I keep saying, it's transferred epithets, which are the technique, but just, yeah, he was the fiercest of the Greek. Oh no, sorry, that's Achilles. Just, yeah, he was a, just, yes, just what describes him. So just, but it's only really a one-off. Now why did I underline the word guards? Stodays. I'm really not sure, but I see. To describe Phoenix, yeah. They watched the guards watch the booty carefully in Juno's sanctuary. So this is ironic. Now, yeah, irony is a hard word to define at the best of times, but the irony of it here, in terms of Latin, or just analyzing Latin, the irony of the place. So a commentator calls attention to the irony of the place for helpless suppliants. So a sanctuary or a shrine being used as a dumping ground for loot by the Greeks, by the enemy. So kind of a like a what do you call it? Is it heresy or sacrilege, something like that? So yeah, just an invasion of a kind of sacred area. Yeah, and it then describes what they have put in there in the ensuing lines. Okay, what line is that? 766, I think it is. Yeah, so just drawing attention to the irony and could say the disgrace of what has happened to Juno's sanctuary there, Congerritur. So these items are collected here, that is enjambed. And also Kirkum, yeah, that is actually a half line. So they stand around, they Kirkum stand, or it says here stand Kirkum. So yeah, just draws attention to the Trojan, the enforced Trojan refugees in this situation, and just, yeah, the related pathos of all that. So just children, terrified mothers, obviously, who have seen their city burning and they have to get away. So you have a bit of a syndeton here. Again, I don't write a syndeton, but it just really draws attention to all the actions which Aeneas is performing here. Could draw attention to say his, if you can read it, just sets his desperation in wanting to find Creusa. 771. It's a very long section, by the way. 771. So it says assonance of I's and O's in 770, 771. So searching for her and running on the city's roofs without end. Okay. There is a note on this, 771. The final scene of Aeneas' search is introduced with a slowing of movement, emphasized by the rhyme of quaerenti and ruenti, and the assonance of I and O. Now, I don't know about O's, but I think they might be talking about I's, and definitely says O in this book. I don't know why. Yeah, so just yeah, there is a scansion note there. So 771. So I'll just write that as a reminder for myself. So 771 scansion note. I don't want to go to my screen where I write scansion notes. 771. Scansion note. I's and O's. Why does it say O? Yeah, definitely I, ruenti. Yeah, so again, so these just things, just generally these things just drawing attention to Aeneas's just frame of mind in this situation. So how his desperation. Now, yeah, here in quick succession, without end and unhappy. I'm not sure whether you can make a connection, but where are we here? I'm just going to go to the, there we are. So yeah, I'll scroll down. Yeah, I just don't want to block any text you have to see. First of all, in Felix. Now that is an epithet more, now he is speaking to Dido. It's very appropriate to speak to Dido. It's used here for Creusa. So he's going to later on see the ghost of Dido in the underworld in a future book. And Dido at that time will have since killed herself because Aeneas had to leave her because the god said he had to remember his destiny and found the new Troy rather than dilly-dallying in Carthage. So yeah, so this you could say is transferred to Creusa. So all right. I'll just put that there. But it also is, yeah, so just I'll write transferred. Oh, what am I doing? Underline transferred epithet for Creusa. So yeah, he is going to see an apparition of Creusa, just like he's going to see one of Dido. But unlike Creusa right now, Dido did not speak to her. Dido's apparition or Dido's ghost did not speak to, not her, to him in the underworld. So you could say that that was the very first ever instance of somebody ghosting someone. Yeah. And the other one is without end. So in book one, Jupiter promises to an exasperated Venus who is begging him to be sort of like not merciful, but just to spare Aeneas from hardship. So why is he undergoing so much hardship. But then he says, then Jupiter says in reply to her, I will promise to an empire without end. So stay the course, sort of have faith that fate will run its course. It's not going to be, a straight line A to B, but you will get to B eventually. So imperium sine fine. Now they speak about this in the lectures. So empire without end, which is going to be the Roman Empire. So just as wherever the sun shines is our empire, is your kingdom. So yeah. Now there was no note in the blue book about this, but I just see it is a very strange repetition of those exact words, which have wider significance in book 1 when Jupiter said those words, and it connects to I'm not sure if it's deliberate, but just imperium sine fine is definitely one of the more significant lines in the Aeneid, which connects Virgil to the Roman audience and the destiny of Troy, which he's trying to get across to them. This greater. So I haven't put a note on this. It's just might be just something nice to know. But what line is it? 772 Major. Yeah. So an apparition of somebody usually is larger. It said in your blue book, larger than in real life. Now, I didn't write this one, but this can this be an example of personification? Can your voice stick? Yeah, your voice gets stuck. So just draws attention to Aeneas's shock, astonishment in seeing the ghost of Creusa. I actually should write that. I'll just write stuck. I'll write personification. Yeah. Because I guess you can't touch one's voice, and it gets it's not a physical thing which gets stuck. Like, say, for example, getting your finger stuck in a drain or something like that. Okay, hopefully not too long to go. 776. So yeah, she's also reminding him that he has to move on. So 776, where are we here? Insano, mad. Now that's not a usual word which is used. Usually it's in terms of passion, furor, etc. Usually it's like furit or amens or but insanity. I will highlight it again. It is so she could be saying to him like so don't act out of passion as a private person. Remember your duty, or just as I keep saying, he has to keep being reminded all the time. These things don't happen against God's will, as I was saying. So you have to follow the will of the gods. So just I am lost. Don't worry about me. This is meant to happen. Move on. As hard as it is for Aeneas to do that. So these things, what line is that? 777, is it? These things hike Eweniunt is jammed. So that just draws attention to the so to the power of the will of the gods, and it must be followed, especially by Aeneas. So she mentions how he must follow his destiny, as you can see in these lines here. Now this is 780. Just a note, I might as well just read them here. Let's put the asterisk. This is the first indication to Aeneas of the site of the new settlement which Hector's ghost had prophesied earlier. The Hesperia means the western land and was commonly applied to Italy. So yeah, I've written Hesperia is Italy. So if you get a question, what is Hesperia? It's Italy. So where the new Troy will be. So yeah. Oh, and that you'll find you'll find a new wife. So here's a tricolon, happy things. That is 783, I think. I'll just scroll up a bit. Oh, there we go. Yep, conjunx. So res laetae, happy things, regnumque regia conjunx. So just these are things that await you if you forget about me, forget about the past, and lead your people to a new Troy as prophesied. And furthermore, there's those things, there's alliteration. So things, race, kingship, regnum, and regia, royal wife. Very pointed, very pointed. Now, what am I saying? Just mention of a royal wife. So yeah, as I keep saying, don't forget that he is speaking to Dido and Carthaginians. He's retelling the story, the unspeakable story of the fall of Troy. So with 7, 8, what one is this on the next page? I'll just read this page. It says, so that regia conjunx, if you're asked who it is of course going to be Lavinia in Italy. So that's why I did those bonuses with you all the time. It is interesting that Aeneas does not keep this secret from Dido. So the alliteration just draws attention to those things that he has to look forward to rather than looking back. So yeah, so just Dido, who is going to be, or is in the previous book, and she's going to fall tragically in love with Aeneas. So she would have designed to be his wife, a royal wife. But yeah, he's telling her in the story that that he would be, that a royal wife elsewhere would be awaiting him. So this is definitely going to be a conflict for not only Aeneas, but more so, absolutely more so, Dido, because she knows that his destiny is not in Carthage. So yeah, so here, just yeah, forget about me, forget about your wife Creusa. Yes, just a little note here, just contextually. So yeah, so I am held back here. So like my destiny is not with you, going with you, it is here. So leave me behind is what Creusa is saying. So 7, 8. So yeah, the Magna Deum Genetrix, the God's great mother, Sibylle, whose main seat of worship was in the Troad. So just saying that, yeah, just saying that her, she's not, she represents the past. So she represents Troy, not new Troy, old Troy, not new Troy. When she gave these words to the crying, we should say, making she withdrew into thin air. So 7, 9, yep, okay, so just go down here. That's the end of the section. So this out in a moment. Alliteration of D and T. So 790. Is there any note on 790? Just said. These phrases are emphasized by the heavy alliteration of D and T. So yeah, obviously, just the whole thing is pathos, pathetic. You feel sorry because he's lost his wife, and he has to move on from her, whether he likes it or not. 790 or 791, sorry, 791. Yeah, so D's and T's. Dicere desuerit. Is it just those two words really? Yeah, so she withdrew into thin air. Tenuisque recessit in oris. So yeah, so just and yeah, so you can just imagine that's it. So it draws attention to, yeah, the very last and yeah, very sad, pathetic moment of him communicating, having any relation with his wife, albeit as a ghost. Anaphora of 3 times. So this ter, so it's it's at the start of the line for emphasis, so word order, and also repeated as well. So I'll just put word order as well. So yeah, he still can't accept it and just think kind of as a human being. So just you don't want to accept it. So he's in kind of, yeah, he's in denial. So 3 times he tried to put his arms around, put my arms around her neck, and 3 times her lightness grasped at it vain escaped my hands. So yeah, so just as you can see, a lot of phrases. So this is thinking about the essay as well. A lot of phrases where you can draw upon parts of the text which really flesh out themes. Like in this case, Aeneas, as I say, it's a private person who wants to say to his wife, actually literally go back to the city. So rather than, and hasn't quite accepted his role as the person to have to lead Troy. And it's just a natural human emotion to want to do that. Like there's one person missing, it is your wife, you want to go back and try to find her. And yeah, what draws attention to this, so this is pathos obviously as well, but just this very sad kind of thing happening is a simile. So yeah, so just it's like grabbing at air, you could say. So where is that? That is similima, and also par is, yeah, it's like equal to. Yeah, so just usually it's the word similis, but yeah, like. So there's a simile there. Yeah, so that's it. So now just themes. I'll probably do that in the holidays, I reckon. It might not be videos. There might just be like, I think, just general phrases, just a sheet of phrases you can use to flesh out the themes. I think, yeah. So I could do a video, but I think a sheet would be better.